Welcome to Hero Villains. Do you think the pre-awakened Thor could defeat Apocalypse with a single blow? Apocalypse is one of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel Universe. He possesses superhuman strength, durability, and longevity. He can manipulate his own molecular structure, change his shape, and has a host of other abilities, including energy manipulation and telepathy. His powers can also be increased through technology or by absorbing the abilities of others. Thor, the god of thunder, possesses immense powers, including superhuman strength, durability, and the ability to control lightning and storms. His magical hammer Mjolnir enhances his abilities and can be used for both offense and defense. Thor also has a rich combat history and has faced many powerful enemies. Before we dive into the analysis, please click the subscribe button and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. Thor in the pre-Ragnarok movies was often left out of the fight. It is a misconception that he immediately reached his full power. For most of his 1,500 years of existence, he was mostly in a state before he was fully awakened. This state should not be underestimated or taken for granted, as he is the god of thunder, Thor Odinson, an incredibly powerful warrior. However, what would happen if he were to face off against someone who also claimed to be a god? Apocalypse first appeared on screen in X-Men Apocalypse. He was essentially the first mutant in that timeline. Possessing incredible adaptability, he could extend his lifespan by absorbing the powers of other mutants and making them his own, a process he has been doing for centuries. When faced with modern mutants, he easily convinced them to join his side, granting them greater powers. With his unparalleled power, he has almost easily destroyed all life on Earth. If Apocalypse were to somehow enter the Marvel Universe, MCU, to fulfill his ambitions of ruling, Thor would certainly be the one sent to stop him. But would he be strong enough to do so? Could he defeat a mutant so powerful that even level 5 mutants worship him? That possibility is very unlikely. A character with overwhelming power like Apocalypse, seeing desired to worship the poet, could not be defeated with a single blow. In X-Men Apocalypse, he was only defeated when Jean Grey fully unleashed the power of the Phoenix, and that was after he had slaughtered everyone in his path. Apocalypse is actually much more capable than what has been shown. However, with what is known, he is still extremely formidable, possessing telepathic and psychic powers great enough to defeat Charles Xavier on his own turf. Initially taken by surprise, Apocalypse quickly adjusted his reaction time. He was able to keep up with Quicksilver, who moved at speeds far beyond the speed of Pietro in the MCU. At the same time, Apocalypse easily repelled Magneto's attempts, even when Magneto had fully awakened his powers in the physical world, while still maintaining a psychic battle with Xavier, for as no stranger to using brute force to attack his enemies. But could he defeat a mutant who claims to be a god and has been worshipped as one since the dawn of civilization? He was once called Ra, Yahweh. Such a being is not easily defeated. In a fistfight, Thor could not defeat Apocalypse with a single punch. Even in his enhanced state, he would have a hard time doing so. A lightning punch or Thor's strongest lightning strike would not be enough to defeat the most powerful mutant in existence. His best weapon in this fight would be one of his divine weapons. Mjolnir could do some serious damage, but ultimately a blunt weapon attack might not be enough to finish Apocalypse off. If there's any chance of defeating him in one hit, it's likely to come from using Stormbreaker. Once again, when Apocalypse attacks Avengers Tower, it's the same old pattern. Thor is initially outmatched, but ultimately wins. Thor could fight Doomsday effectively and might even outperform Superman. However, I don't see him being able to permanently take down Doomsday, a being who can stand toe-to-toe with Superman and even defeat him. Thor has the ability to control magic and lightning through Mjolnir, which could give him the upper hand in their initial fight. However, as the fight drags on, Thor will have a real hard time, as Doomsday is adaptable and immune to any attack he throws at him. As long as Thor doesn't fight mindlessly and makes full use of his time and space powers, he has a moderate to low chance of winning. Thor could completely destroy Apocalypse by blasting him into oblivion, just as he did to the Elder God. However, it's important to remember that Apocalypse has been enhanced with celestial technology, which gives him absolute control over atoms and molecules, even his own body. He can change his shape, making his body more flexible, denser, larger, or smaller at will. This means he can absorb most physical attacks, including a blow from Mjolnir. Furthermore, Apocalypse cannot be harmed by any conventional weapon or energy source, making him resistant to even Thor's lightning. Even when attacked and damaged, Apocalypse possesses superior regenerative and healing abilities, making him virtually immortal, something Thor does not possess. In 1013 AD, Apocalypse sought to destroy Thor, the Asgardian god, as he realized that Thor could become a great threat to him in the future. Thor can certainly do what Jean Grey did in X-Men Apocalypse, as he was able to nearly kill Thanos and withstand the intense heat of a neutron star. It proves that he possesses power far beyond what Apocalypse could imagine. In a direct fight, if used to his full potential, Thor could overwhelm Apocalypse with his godlike strength and ability to control lightning. However, in 9/10 cases, even when Thor is at his strongest, he still cannot completely destroy Apocalypse without the right weapon. Without Mjolnir or Stormbreaker, Thor would have a hard time finishing off his opponent. Apocalypse, with his atomic control and body regenerative abilities, could find a way to escape, especially with his teleportation abilities. This makes him extremely difficult to defeat, even for a warrior as powerful as Thor. The X-Men have proven to be superior to the regular Thor, and if he were to don his celestial armor, his strength would far surpass Thor's without the aid of any weapons or armor. It would certainly be a brutal close quarters battle, but Apocalypse has a distinct advantage. He can grant himself any power he desires by adjusting the molecular structure of his body. This makes him incredibly versatile and virtually invincible in a prolonged confrontation. However, Thor, with his godly powers, can muster a devastating attack to destroy Apocalypse, regardless of whether he has the celestial armor or not. Things will get even worse for Apocalypse if Thor reaches more powerful forms. When Thor combines the power of the Phoenix, uses the Death Sword, or reaches the state of the Rune King, he will be far beyond anything Apocalypse can fight. At that point, the power gap is too great. Thor possesses thousands of years of combat experience. He has faced countless powerful enemies such as Loki, Hela, and dark forces from many different universes. Mjolnir, the legendary hammer, and the ability to control lightning make Thor a formidable warrior. His accumulated wisdom allows him to adapt to any situation. Apocalypse, the ancient ruler of Earth, is also an immortal warrior with sophisticated fighting skills. He uses advanced technology and the ability to transform to overwhelm his opponents. With a sharp strategic mind, Apocalypse always creates complex plans to achieve his goal of domination. For an increase exactly 112. Thor, the god of thunder of Asgard, is the embodiment of courage and the spirit of protection. With Mjolnir in hand, he fights not only for honor, but also to protect the weak. Compassion and justice make Thor always find a way to confront the enemy directly, not hesitating to put himself in danger to save his teammates and the universe. Please subscribe to the channel, it will help us a lot, and moreover, you will see great videos every day. You are the best, thank you very much. Apocalypse, on the other hand, is cruel and brutal, believing that only the strong deserve to survive. He is not afraid to use ruthless tactics, manipulate his opponents, and eliminate the weak. His cold, emotionless, and extreme ideology make him an uncompromising warrior. However, before he possessed Mjolnir, Thor used another weapon called Jarnbjorn, a legendary axe forged by the dwarves that could cut through any object. This ancient magical weapon contained terrible power, but over time it was lost. What's special is that even Kang the Conqueror of Time, did not know exactly where Thor hid Jarnbjorn. In order to solve this mystery, Kang the Conqueror made a time travel, returning to around 1013 AD with the goal of finding this weapon. During his journey, Kang found Apocalypse, one of the most powerful ancient mutants, and therefore, it is impossible to control a human in the future, and perhaps this is something to be taken seriously. The apocalypse seems to be approaching, and it is alarming to think that I need to take control of the future. It is important to stop Thor, and so he sets out and finds Thor in Scandinavia. At first, no one realizes that Kang the Conqueror is behind all these events. Instead, Thor simply enjoys himself, indulges in wine, and lives a life of debauchery, which seems to be the best time for him. He sings, proudly proclaims his title, "I am Thor!" and freely demonstrates his power by defeating his opponents. However, when the apocalypse comes, the situation changes. He declared that Thor's time was over, then quickly rushed in, knocking Thor out of the room. The two immediately engaged in battle. Thor now had Jarnbjorn in his grasp, and he realized this was the moment to act, that he had to fight. This man, whoever he was, had to be eliminated. He suddenly attacked from behind, in an unacceptable move. Immediately, Doomsday made his move, and the two engaged in battle. Thor's axe swung down at him, but it didn't seem to cause any damage. Thor realized that the situation was not favorable and he wondered how to deal with it, then decided to retreat for now. With a calm mind, Thor quickly left the battlefield, flying back to Asgard. Meanwhile, Doomsday teleported back to his ship where he met up with Kang the Conqueror. Upon seeing Kang, he became frustrated. "What's going on here?" Kang calmly replied, "Trust me, you need to destroy him, then everything will be fine." Thor returned home through the Rainbow Bridge, immediately seeking Odin to report the situation. He explained, "Odin, someone has appeared on Earth. He has defeated me, and I need something strong enough to defeat him." To that request, Odin slowly responded, "Thor, you are my son and I know you are strong, but you must remain calm. I am Anthony Hopkins. Odin. Do not let that man provoke you. Ignore him, let him wallow in his own negativity. Any parent should teach you how to deal with a bully, and that while sticks and stones may hurt you and even the apocalypse may destroy everything, restraint is true strength." However, Thor cannot ignore the situation. That forces us to act. Meanwhile, Loki, or rather, the one everyone thinks is Loki, seizes this opportunity to carry out his plan. He gives Thor an ancient scroll, claiming that it contains magic that allows his axe to pierce the armor of celestial beings, causing terrible damage equal to the apocalypse. However, the truth gradually comes to light. The one behind it all is not Loki, but Kang the Conqueror in his guise. Kang has tricked Thor, causing him to accidentally enchant the axe without knowing the consequences. While Thor is still in Asgard, a disaster is about to happen. The battle immediately breaks out. Apocalypse appears, full of confidence, disdaining Thor and not seeing him as a threat. He brags about his shape-shifting ability and superior strength. However, Thor is not fazed. With his godly strength, he swings his hammer and attacks Apocalypse with great force. Surprised by the powerful blow, Apocalypse is stunned. Unable to understand what just happened, Apocalypse falls into a panic, unable to understand what is happening. He wonders how Thor could hurt him, let alone defeat him. But Thor calmly responds, reminding him that he has messed with the wrong person, and now must suffer the consequences. With the power of the magical axe, Thor knew he could easily finish off Apocalypse, but instead, he chose to leave, leaving him to his fate. Soon after, the Apocalypse ship self-destructed and exploded, ending any threat, and Thor watched the scene before him, satisfied that Apocalypse was destroyed, and he no longer had to worry about him. Back in Asgard, Thor celebrated his victory, proud of having defeated someone with a powerful suit of armor. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much.